Let's turn this into this. Hi there, my name's Carolyn Dunn and I'm a Dot Mandala artist, and I would love to welcome you to my channel. Okay, we're starting on this 8-inch board today, and I'm going to start by base painting. I've got my black paint and I'm just going to roll it out. I'm going to get my edges, and we're going to just roll out some black paint onto this. And I will give this 3 coats. Welcome back, my friends. Today we're working on a small one. This one is 8 inches in diameter and it's probably 1/4 inch thick. And yeah, I thought we'd just do a small one for once. Now, again, I have my little center finder here so I can get all the edges on the 8-inch and make sure all the way around that it's sitting right, and that looks pretty good. So now I'm going to put in my starter lines. There we go. Take my ruler and we'll connect the dots. Take my stencil and I can get the rest of my lines. And then we'll just draw those lines through. There we go, all the way around. And then we're going to use our compass to add in our circles. And we're going to mark off our 0.5 centimeter increments along this line. And we're ready to start. Center dot in Emerald Green by Alchemy. And we're going to use the 8mm tool. Okay, let's just get that center dot in there. Just going to put a little bit more on top there. Okay, so that first round of dots was using the 0.5mm tool and the Buttermilk paint, and I forgot to press record. And this next row is in the desert sand, and we're using the 1mm tool. And we're just going in between each one of those dots. This next row is in Fawn, and we're using the 3mm tool, the large end of the green tool. Now we're using a very fine tip tool to create tiny little copper dots in between each one of those dots that we've already placed. Okay, let's put in some of those emerald green dots using the 7mm tool on every other line. Okay, we're going in with the dried clay paint and the 0.5mm tool to create our uppermost dots here. will use the small end of that tool to walk the dots down. And we're all the way around. Okay, we're going in with the 2mm tool to place an uppermost dot here. And we're going in with the Fawn paint right now. Okay, and then we'll use the 1mm tool to drag a swoosh down. So we're going to start right there. Now for the swooshes on either side, we'll start with the 0.5mm tool, but we'll drag down with a fine tip tool, like this one I have here. Okay, let's define that intersection with a row of buttermilk dots using the 3mm tool, and we'll go all the way around. All right, it's time for some Crocus Fields dots. And we're going in with the number 4, like my nails. Finally, eh? That's what you're probably saying, finally. That's right. That's right. Crocus Fields has made it in the last several pieces, hasn't it? Because I love it. We're going to add some mirrors. So we're just going to trace the outline of these mirrors and then we'll swoosh around them. And we're using the 2.5mm tool to swoosh up on either side, right along the lines of the tracings that we made of the mirrors. Beautiful. I love it. Okay, we're going to go in with the 3mm tool and the Crocus Fields paint, and we're going to create another swoosh. And we'll start about one line down. Okay, so now using the 8mm tool, we're going to add a Mississippi mud dot in between those swooshes. All right, using the 1mm tool, we're going to place an uppermost dot in dried clay. We'll walk those down with the small end of the tool. Okay, let's place our uppermost dot in the Fawn paint using the 2.5mm tool all the way around. So we're going to swoosh down the sides with the 1mm tool. Now you might notice that I'm using a leaning bridge here. My husband, Brian, built me a beautiful leaning bridge, two of them actually, one for the smaller pieces and one that will go up to 24 inches. So I'm loving it. Keeps my hand out of the wet paint. Hang in until the end and I'll show you both the leaning bridges that Brian made for me. I've placed copper dots here using the 3mm tool, so that's in the worn penny. I've sketched in some curlicues here. We're going to go in with the worn penny paint and the small end of the white tool, the small end of the 2mm tool, to just swoosh them in, I guess you would say. Now let's place those emerald green dots using the 3mm tool all the way around this circle. And I'm wearing gloves because this paint is highly pigmented and it gets on your skin and you just can't get it off. Now let's do a round of dots in the Mississippi mud and we'll use the 7.5mm tool and we'll go all the way around. Now we're using the 1mm tool to place our uppermost dots in desert sand all the way around. And we'll walk those dots down with the 0.5mm tool. Lovely. The next row of dots is in Buttermilk, and we'll use the 2mm tool for those uppermost dots. And we'll walk them down with the 1mm tool. Alrighty, so now let's place a slate gray swoosh using the 2mm tool in the center between those two flowers. And we'll do that all the way around. And now we'll put a fawn swoosh on either side of that slate gray one, using again the 2mm tool. And we'll start just a little bit lower. The gloves are back on. It must be time for emerald green. We're going in with the 5mm tool to place some top dots on our Mississippi mud dots, all the way around. And we're all the way around. Let's finish this little beauty off, shall we? We'll go in with the 5.5mm tool and my favorite Crocus Fields paint and create dots at the bottom of these swooshes, all the way around. I can't wait to see it with the mirrors on. Okay, we've completed the painting part of this, and now we want to get 3 coats of varnish on, and then we'll add our little mirrors. So we'll start with our first coat of varnish. And that's coat 1. Let's get that 3rd coat of varnish on. Beautiful. Alrighty, let's get these mirrors on. I'm just using Gorilla Super Glue to put them on. So I just place a couple of drops on my piece, but be very careful because it can get stringy, and if you're not careful lifting up, you can end up with that glue on another part of your piece, and it's really hard to come off, if at all. So place that on your piece, and then drop your mirror on and just position it where you want it. And it won't take long to dry. And there they are, all on. Now, there are a few ways you can hang these, or you could just use them in a stand, because they're small, they're 8 inches, right? So they go lovely in just a little picture stand and a little easel. And then what I use quite often on these small ones, it's just this plastic on this side, and then you have an adhesive piece. You just pull that off and you place that on the back, and it gives you a nice sawtooth hanger. I've used these on a lot of my pieces, not the bigger ones, obviously. Those ones I use a D-ring on them. So we'll give this a few. I'll put this on the back, and then we'll have a look. Okay, this is the leaning bridge that my husband made for me, and it's perfect. So if I want to get in and dot on something, I can do this without getting my hand, as you know I always do, in the wet paint. So I love it. So this one, the inside measurements are 16 inches. So you can do a 14-inch board on that, no problem. So my Lazy Susans, awesome. Lots of room to do them. Oh, the joy of having a husband who is a carpenter. Fabulous. And this leaning bridge is 24 3/4 across. So that's beautiful. And we had the plexiglass, so my husband just mounted it to some blocks. So this is one with a 20-inch board on it. And look at it, just spans the whole thing. So if I had wet paint and I wanted to work in the center, I could easily do that just using my little leaning bridge. Beautiful. Love it. Thank you, Bee. Okay, back to the emerald jewel. Look at, isn't it beautiful? So let's put our hanger on the back. So that just peels off the back, like so. And then you can just place it, well, you want to place it so that you're going to be oriented correctly. Okay. So we want that to come right down about there. And now that'll hang nicely, bends out a little bit, and then you can hang it on your hook. Beautiful. and that is the emerald jewel. Thanks for watching. Hope to join me next time. Please consider liking, commenting, or subscribing. I'd love that. And remember, keep on dotting.